Hi, I'm Charbria Shine, and welcome back to Max Out Girl. All right, hello. We are back with another business spotlight, and we have a very special guest, the one and only John Ruffin. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so let's get directly into it. So he is a producer, a playwright, and a director, and has been in this industry for over 40 years.
Yeah, about 40 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going
oh, yeah, I
closer.
said over. Almost 40 years.
Yeah, almost. See,
Look,
trying
I'm
to
trying to
age me.
push him
yes,
up there.
Exactly.
Almost 40 years.
Absolutely.
So tell me, first of all, how did you get into this industry? Kind of tell us your story.
Well, basically, I kind of fell into in love with theater. I remember in the 7th grade going to Brooks Junior High School from Harvey, Illinois. Shout out to Harvey, Illinois. But in Brooks Junior High, I seen my first musical, if you will, The King and I.
Yeah.
And those were my friends playing the lead roles. And I remember sitting in those bleachers. And in 7th grade, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
In the 7th grade, wow.
In the 7th grade. And even prior to that, I've always had this gift. God has always given me this gift. When I hear music, I can see shows.
Wow.
I see movement. And so with that, I used to have my brothers and sisters. I'm the eldest of 5 children.
Wow.
I used to have them all reenact songs. And my mother and father were the audience.
Wow.
And by us being preachers' kids, our favorite artists were the Jackson 5 at that time. And we used to sing that song, "Oh Baby, Give Me One More Time." But we changed it to "Oh Jesus, Give Me One More Chance." And I did this whole video with just for us to be able to sing it too. So that's how it all started. And I never stopped from that point.
Wow, I love that. So from there, from those moments, your parents saw that you had this talent, this gift. Did you say, hey, I want to be in theater? Like, how did it go from there?
One thing about my parents, they didn't encourage it or discourage it one way or the other. I then start pursuing it. As soon as I hit my freshman year in high school at Thornton Township High School, and another shout out to Harvey, I pursued the drama team.
Nice.
And I got in my first musical children's play, and from that point I was always on the drama team, always in the school plays, and and the education that they gave us there, it was like a performing arts school.
Wow.
So I learned everything I could in theater there. I don't have a formal education in theater. But prayerfully, I have 3 honorary doctorate degrees in theater and performing arts and the fine arts. But it just shows when God has carved out a path for you. The paper behind you doesn't qualify you.
Wow.
It just shows that when God qualifies you, it doesn't take the paper to decide it.
I love that. So you were learning these concepts in high school?
In high school, yeah.
Wow.
And I still apply it today.
I love that.
Everything I learned in high school, I apply it today. I've never, like I said, had any formal training.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes.
So from high school, did you jump directly into being a playwright, or how did you?
No, I went to college.
Okay.
That's what my parents paid for. I have a degree in business.
Okay.
Didn't know why I had a degree in business. I always wanted to actually be that astute business type person. But then when you got into it, you're like, it's not as much money into it as you thought.
Yeah.
But God was using that to prepare me to run my own theater today.
Wow.
And didn't know it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So would you say you learned some really valuable lessons, getting your degree that you saying that's helping you today run this? Or was it kind of just a little bit and a lot of things you had to learn as you go?
Well, business is hands-on.
Yes.
You will never get it. You learn theory in school.
Yes.
You learn what a flow chart and all that stuff is. You can recognize it, but until you put your hands on business, you have no idea.
Wow.
And so everything we've learned, me and my wife, when we started this show, this theater, we were just learning as we go. Now it's our 7th year, and we're very successful with it, and I'm very happy to say that.
I love that. So when was that point when you're like, okay, I have this degree, but I want to get back in theater? Or did you stay in theater?
I stayed in theater.
Oh, you stayed in theater.
I stayed in theater while I was in school.
What? I love this.
Yeah, and until all through my adulthood, it's always been theater for me.
Yeah.
Every year of my life, I always put on shows. My first show, I put on myself. I paid for it. the whole nine. And I remember it was an old pastor. He's dead and gone now. But after I did my very first show at his place, it was that R.D. Hinton Cultural Center on 81st and Low, I believe. And he told me, he came up to me and he said, God has ordained you for this. You're going to meet people where pastors can't. So when he spoke that over my life, I thought everything was going to be smooth and gravy. No, that means that's where the rocks in the journey came.
Yeah.
But sure enough, how he said it would happen, it did happen. I'm able to go in places that a lot of people aren't able to, and I'm able to talk to millions of people without being able to leave wherever my place of work is.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
I love that. So you got your business degree, but you were still pursuing
I was still
theater.
pursuing.
And when you graduated, you're like, I'm going to do my own show.
I was in corporate. I was in corporate America.
Oh, you were in corporate
I
America.
was in corporate America,
What?
and there was the biggest void in my life just sitting there. I was like, I really need to do this. There were a lot of times I took chances, quit the job and said, hey, I'm going to pursue this.
Yeah.
God, if you said this is what I'm supposed to do, then it's going to work out. That's not always so.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he hasn't called you. You're just not qualified yet. And sometimes you can move before your season. And when you move before your season, it becomes more of a struggle.
Wow.
But in that struggle, he still got you.
Yeah.
And he still kept me and pushed me in the right way to go. And I tell everybody all the time, I named this theater company Theater 47. I didn't know at the age of 47 is when my breakthrough would happen.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been doing it all those years, and then 47, everything now it feels like everything I touch turns to gold.
I love that.
so,
So
yeah.
you created that name once you turned 47 or?
No, I did it before.
Really?
Yeah, I was on 47th Street at the Harold Washington Cultural Center,
Wow.
and I wanted to distinguish between my company and Harold Washington. It was on 47th Street, so I just took Theater 47.
So you were there first?
Yes, I was at Harold Washington
Nice.
Cultural
So
Center.
is this your second location? Because we're in his location right now.
Yes. This is my location.
Okay.
I was at that time partnering and working with them. I was a resident artist, if
Makes
you will.
sense. Yes. And so you differentiated your name to stand out.
Yes.
And now you have your own
My
spot.
own
Yes,
spot.
I
My
love that.
every part of it, including the bills.
Yes.
Yes.
Say, make sure
Yeah,
you put that down.
including the bills. Yes.
So what made you go, so you were doing your own shows, and what was that final say, like, I need my own theater, or I want my own theater?
Well, you know what? I've always wanted my own theater.
Okay, so you knew that
I
already.
always knew it. It's a couple of places I've tried. I remember turning a gymnatorium, if you will, that's a gymnasium mixed with, and tried to change that into a theater to find out the people didn't own it, so I lost everything I put into it.
Okay.
I've tried changing church basements into theater. One thing about it, I've always tried.
That's key.
And it wasn't time yet. But in my trying, I learned so much. I learned what my tolerance was. I learned what my intolerance was.
Okay.
I learned what the value of a dollar meant.
Okay.
So, because I always say this, you have to lose money to respect money. When you lose it, you learn to keep it. You know, and that was valuable, especially running now a 200-seat black box.
Yeah.
You need to know how to keep your money.
Okay.
You know, and that's how it worked out for me.
Wow.
So all things work together for the good.
good.
So even though it felt like it was a lot of moments I filled my pillow with tears.
Yeah.
However, you know, now it's turning into joy.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I'm
love
saying? So
that.
that's how it's going.
And that was going to be my next question. You kind of alluded to it. Were there times of heavy discouragement or some obstacles where you almost gave up, or that it was just felt like, man, this is tough?
I've always given up every year.
Really?
Every year.
Tell me a little bit about that.
You know, there were times, most times, I remember doing my first show, my first headline or a national talent was Thelma from Good Times.
Okay.
And we did a show right there at the West Side High School Auditorium in Gary, Indiana. I was so excited about it. I just knew everybody was coming.
Yeah.
And I lost $30,000. I went completely broke. I didn't even have gas to get home. And I struggled, made it home, and just to be able to tell my wife I lost it all.
Yeah.
And then to try to pay the bills the next day.
Yeah.
You know, so it was very discouraging, the whole journey, the process. But one thing about it, when the dream is on the inside of you, when the vision is there, and there's something that's funny how my faith works is that God would just give you a glimpse. He didn't, and sometimes he don't tell you the journey is going to take to get to that, just that glimpse.
Yeah.
Because if he showed you the
You
journey,
might turn away.
you wouldn't take it.
Say no, thank you.
Because I look back now and
Yes.
say I couldn't do what I did back then. I couldn't take what I took
a
back
lot.
then because
Yeah.
it was so much. You know, one thing about your journey, you have people turning away from you. You have people talking about you. You're having people saying this and saying that. It must be you. It must be, you know, that you're failing. It must be you. But when it isn't you, it's what that journey is taking for it to build you. It is you, because the fortitude that it is taking to do this, you learn at that point that it ain't people that you need. It's favor from God that you need.
Yes.
And when you get that favor, the people will come. Because now you are not depending on them. You are depending solely on God. And he will send the people you need.
Yes.
But be able to, I always say, be able to turn away from people, but never turn away from God.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because my audience knows, for the most part, most of my audience knows that I'm an entrepreneur,
Yes,
playwright,
absolutely.
fresh playwright, young
Yes.
playwright. And so I love what you're saying, though, because it can be so discouraging. But the first time that I did a play was 2021 for the first time.
Yes.
Someone told me, why would you do a play? Theater's dead.
Yeah.
And this is just what I was told. And
Yeah.
I was almost crushed because I'm thinking, you know, I felt God had told me to do it.
He did.
So I'm just like, okay, God, I've done theater all my life. I love it. Like,
Yes.
I light up, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
And so I'm thinking, I love film too, don't get
Yes,
me wrong.
yes.
But I was just thinking, man, it kind of, and then COVID hit. So it's like, it kind of is dead, literally.
Yeah.
You know, so this has to be bad timing. Like, you
right.
didn't tell me this, you know?
Right.
But I love what you're saying. Like, when God gives you the vision, you have to hold on to it. You can't depend on people.
Absolutely.
You have to say, God, I'm going to depend on you. I'm going to do what you called me to do.
Absolutely.
Whether it seems like the industry is dead or whatever, you know. And
Yes.
so it's powerful that you even say you have felt like giving up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of my listeners, they're entrepreneurs, whatever genre you're in or industry, it gets tough.
Oh, it gets very tough. And then you always have to encourage yourself within. And it's funny, we opened this building in 2018. We were so excited. I signed the lease.
Yeah.
We signed the lease in August. And then, you know, September, you know, I'm sorry, in near December, our oldest son, you know, took his life. You know, so we, at the same time, we were having a grand opening, but at the same time, we were burying them. So my wife had to be at the repast while I'm cutting the ribbon. So as bittersweet as it was, and it is, you know, we had to keep going.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle. It was a struggle to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next year, COVID hit. You know, so then, you know, then that same year, my mom passed. So you have all of this, and then you're saying, I can't even think creatively. And now I have to run a business on top of my grief. And at the same time, no money. We can't even make money because the world is closed.
Yeah.
So, you know, it tried us. But that's where I think, you know, you get closer. You know, because COVID didn't separate me and my wife. It brought us closer because we didn't have anything to depend on. We couldn't even depend on our own emotions at that time.
Yeah, true.
So if you don't carry us,
we won't be carried,
and the part is, we didn't even seek him to carry us because you're so distraught. All you feel is alone. But that's when he's carrying you the most.
Yes.
When you're not even, and that just shows who he is. He don't need you to do what he does. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was going to ask you, you know, allude to that. How important was your faith in this process of building this amazing brand that you have? Yeah,
you know, it's everything. You know, again, I was a preacher's kid, but living by the report of my parents did nothing for me. I had to have my own relationship, whatever that was, and however it was, you know, and there's different processes for different people. You know, some people have to be slapped in the face and hit over the head, and sometimes I was that person, you know, just to recognize and look up, man, I still got you. But I'm talking silently and you trying to listen for a loud voice. So, and I've learned now to listen. and feel what he's trying to tell me.
Yes.
And when I say he don't have a problem to do it, when I say
Yeah.
trying, it's me.
It's usually us. Always us.
It's always
Yes.
us. He has no problem telling.
Yeah.
It's just me. So that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So your faith has really helped you in this journey.
It was the only
and
way.
It was the only way. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at too, where I agree, because in this entrepreneurship journey, in life period, I
Yeah.
don't know how they make it without God.
I can't.
I don't get
I don't
it.
do it. Yeah.
I don't get it, because I'm like,
Exactly.
he is the anchor of my soul.
Absolutely.
In everything.
Absolutely.
You know, everything that happens in life, the tragedies that happen,
Yeah.
the grievances,
Yeah.
COVID, the world we live in right now,
Yes.
stuff that's going on. If you're married, relationships, you have children, I feel like he helps us. He's our pillar of strength in everything that we have. So I
That's
love
right.
when I interview others
Yes.
and they're like, yes, that's my
And I
foundation.
stand on it, you know,
Yeah.
because I know the world is changing.
Yep.
They're doing what they want to do. They say what they want to say.
Yep.
And that's why I said when any platform I got on or was able to be offered, thank you very
Yes,
much,
of course.
that
Thank
I
you.
would never put him behind the arts
Yes.
because he was in front of the art the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And even that's why I think, you know, I feel like he gave me the building at a time he could trust me.
Yes,
He
I
gave
love
me the
that.
breakthrough at the time he can trust me.
Yes.
That I would never think it would be me, but to stay humble with it, but always at the same time let nobody push me away from the goal intended. And that
Yes.
goal that he gave me, and that was to create new stars.
Yes.
Yeah, there's stars already, but it's time to brand new stars.
Yes.
And when I told the world that that's what I do, and
Yeah.
that's my ministry.
Yes.
Is to really deal with the mental illness and the mental health of artists, because a lot of people don't know when the door is closed on you so many times, that deals with your psyche. And not only that, with your personal life, it really can take you in a downwind, a downspin, you know. And so that's why I'm here, is to be able to say, hey, it doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, you're going to go through that, but that's life. Art imitates life. Don't think it's just you.
Yes.
You know, so we take that opportunity to be a ministry to first the people that's on my theater company.
Yes.
And if I can build them up, we can build the world up.
Yes.
See, that's what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to match consciousness. It's supposed to help us to want to be a better society,
Yes.
a better people. Because I always say it like this. It's like when I write a play, it's not just a play.
Right.
It's a parable.
Yeah.
And all you
It's a
have to do
story.
is find yourself in it.
Yes.
And that's why I think the gift that God has given me has been so explosive,
Yes.
because I've removed me and just allow him to just talk to the people in their needs. I don't know everyone's needs.
Right, but
he does. So
Yeah.
he'll then hit me with the right story, and it'll come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because the people that I write about, Billie Holiday, Phyllis Hyman, Teddy Pendergrass, I wasn't a fan because I grew up a preacher's kid. We couldn't even
Right.
listen to secular music.
Right, same.
So I couldn't tell you who they were,
Right.
but he told me to talk about it. And when I talk about it, now I'm reaching thousands and thousands of people who never knew even the signs of mental illness, never knew the signs of alcohol abuse, domestic violence, rape, all of these things that we are afraid to talk about.
And needs
That's
to be talked
taboo.
about. Yep.
You see, so that's where it
Yes.
comes
No,
from.
I love that. I
Yes.
love that. So let's jump into it. You're not just into theater, but also you have dabbled a lot in film as well.
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that. How did you jump from theater to film?
Well, you know, with film, here it goes. You know, they came from LA and found me.
Awesome. Okay.
Doing plays.
Yeah.
And the plays I were doing, they felt like they could go right over into film, and it just happened just like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting there doing a play, and then the next week they contacted me through someone who knew me,
Yes.
and the rest is history. I was offered, I've been offered a 15 movie deal, even though I turned it down because I don't like film.
You don't?
I
Tell
don't
me
like
that.
film.
Why
The
don't you
reason
like
why I don't like film is the time it takes. You know, you're sitting there in front of, you know, I'm so used to that instant gratification of how the audience feel. You won't know
Yeah,
until
you
about
won't
3 to
know.
6 months, and you know,
So
it
you
feel
need to
like
know now.
I need to know now, and that process of
Just too long.
shooting 18 hours, 16, 18-hour days, sitting in front of just a TV screen, and the part is, I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I just don't like doing
Don't
it.
prefer
And
it.
they always asking me, and I
Yeah.
tell people, I
You
said,
said no.
I'm always asked to do film,
Yeah.
but I don't do it.
You don't do it.
Yeah, but I will. As I'm getting older, I am going to dabble more into it
Okay.
again, but just under different circumstances. Yeah.
So what would you give, let's talk to that actor first, because somebody might be an aspiring actor or performer. What kind of advice would you give them? Especially in today's day and age.
In today's day and age, hope until you see it. And a lot of times we lose hope when we don't see it in front of us.
Yeah.
We lose, that sense of movement when we don't see it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it feels like you're running in place, you're walking in place, but such is life.
Yeah.
Such is life. You don't need to be a entrepreneur or an artist to feel like that.
Right.
So this message is not just for them,
Right.
but like you said, to the artists right now, hope until it comes into fruition. Keep working until it happens. The more you work, the better you get, the more valuable you are.
I love that.
Yes, and always be at that place to know everybody is indispensable. Everybody can be replaced, including the one that writes the show, including the one that directs the show, including the one that produces the show.
Everybody.
There's always someone to step in the place of you.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of artists get in the place. They feel like there's a monopoly on them.
Oh, wow.
Guess what? It is. You're the only one, but there are others.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that's out here more gifted that can sing better than you can act and less headache. So what directors and producers look for is, yes, the talent, but they look for the least headache that they can get to the goal.
Yes.
The goal is what we're trying to get to. We're not trying to sit there, we got to treat you the prima donna or prima donnas or whatever. We don't do that.
That could be a lot.
It is a lot.
My goodness.
And it's a headache.
Yeah.
So we prefer that.
Yeah, he was like, yes.
Yeah.
No, I do understand, because just being in the arts growing up, I originally started in dance first, and then got into theater and singing and other stuff. And divas.
Oh, divas and divas. Divos, yes.
It's like, ooh, and now it's funny because I come from that world, but I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I don't want to be anything like that. Like, like people don't want to deal with it.
They don't.
It's because, like you said, it's a headache.
It is.
So let's move on to the playwright. What would you tell that person?
Well, the playwright,
that's a little different.
Yeah, I talk to the playwrights all the time. And, it's almost the same message, too. Sometimes you can look at other people who made it. Because in my era, you had the Tyler Perry, the David Talbot, Jacarius Johnsons, the J.D. Lawrences, and, Angela Dunlaps. I could go on and on. And I sat in those theaters and we're in awe, like, man, when is it my turn? Man, I can write. Hey, y'all, I'm here. And you know what?
Say you next.
Man, please. And I'm talking to people and promoters, and they didn't pay me any attention. Now I'm the only one touring.
Yeah.
You see how he'll remove the playing field. He will remove the competitors when it's your season and your time. The point is, keep on pushing in the area you are. I never compete with others.
Yep.
Because your gift is different than my gift.
Yeah.
Now I can help your gift because I know the process, but that don't mean I want to do your gift.
Yeah.
Because your audience is a totally different animal than my audience.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I would tell the playwright: keep writing. Don't try to imitate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, take the time to learn. Because whether you're doing inspirational plays, musicals, or what have you, it's still a formula.
Yeah.
And your formula cannot differ from the formula it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot of time. The new playwrights try to do this new innovative thing, and that's fine. You can have a new innovative message, but the formula gotta be carried through. A musical is a musical.
Right.
A musical stage play is a musical stage play. And if you don't know anything about transitions and storylines, story arcs, guess what? You're gonna be all over the place, and your audience is gonna be like, what is this about?
Like, what's happening?
And how long is it?
Yeah.
And most new playwrights, you better believe, they shows going about 2 hours, 30 minutes. And that's just runtime. God forbid that little 40-minute intermission, because they trying to fix everything behind
Man, that's long, 40 minutes.
They try. Cause it start off 15. but it goes. It always does. Because you know why I know? Because I've been
You've
there.
been there. Yeah, yeah.
And I still have problems sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. It's a learning process.
It's a learning process.
for
You just learn
sure.
how to cut to the chase now.
Yeah, yeah.
Trim the fat off. You like, I really don't need to say that.
Yeah.
Why do I have extras in a play?
Yeah.
That many extras. Instead, the extras can be dancers.
Yeah.
Then I could get 2 for 1 out of. You know, so you
No,
learn
that
those
makes
little
sense.
processes. Yeah.
Would you say that the biggest thing is diligence? Like, cause I know for me just starting, my husband is always just like, just get your gift out there. Just get your gift out there. You know, just keep going. Cause you know, you can get discouraged and be like, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like, just keep going. Obviously keep learning, but become the person that, like you said, God can trust you to bring that favor.
There you
because
go.
you've been diligent in learning and working your gift.
And yes, and find mentorship.
Okay.
You know, you can't be out here because it'll take you much longer.
Okay.
The one guy that I mentor right now, I've been mentoring him for the past 15
You
years.
said, ooh.
Yeah, because I look at him, he's doing very well
That's
now.
awesome, yeah.
Richard Gallion.
Okay.
You know, Richard Gallion now has his own theater company.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard called me before he does something
Yeah.
because he gets that advice before he does
Yeah,
it.
which is
and it's
good.
easier for me to say, no, don't do that.
Yes.
And I don't have to pull my words back. I can tell them, no, don't do
Yeah,
it.
'cause you
Why? Not that I
experience.
don't want to see you excel.
Yeah.
It's too early for you.
Gotcha.
And
yeah.
you're not ready. I can look at how much money you have behind you.
Yeah.
You're about to lose everything.
Wow,
You know,
yeah.
so, and he's been, out of all the playwrights I've seen starting in Chicago, he's been one of the most successful.
That's
because
awesome.
I've made the mistakes for him.
You're right. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes a lot of
That's
sense.
the point in mentorship.
Yeah, so, and you're right, you have to stay diligent at
Yeah.
it. And that doesn't mean because you have mentorship, you won't fail.
Right.
I failed more times than I succeeded. But in those failures, I didn't fail.
You
I
learned.
actually learned.
Yes.
And I learned a lot.
You learned.
I learned. Sometimes you have to take a deep breath after the failure, though.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to regroup.
Yep.
Not start over, just regroup.
yeah. Yeah,
Regroup your mind and everything. And I always say this.
yeah.
One show a year ain't enough. Can't learn off one show a year.
Come on, tell us about that. How
Yeah.
many shows would you suggest?
Oh,
a
I
year?
always did 3 shows a
Three
year.
shows, 3 different shows.
No, I stayed on one show
show,
for
and then
5 years until I perfected
Until you
that
got
show.
it right. I love that.
One show.
Yes.
Until I got it right. And God blessed me with a great script doctor because I didn't have much mentorship because
Okay.
everybody I asked to mentor me told me
They said
if
no?
your gift make room for your gift to make room for it, and for hung the phone up, and that's a
No,
famous
no.
that's a famous playwright that did that. And
You'll give him a room. He
I
hung
can't,
up on you.
he hung up on. He said, "Well, if you that good, your gift to make room for you."
Oh,
Click.
no.
And I was
That's so
like,
terrible.
"Oh, cool." You
Okay.
know, and then some locally here
Yeah.
in Chicago, I called them. I was like, "Please, I just want your mentorship, please."
Yeah.
They never showed up, and it's funny
Okay.
that after I got to a level of success, it's
Then
like,
they wanna
"Oh,
call
you're
you.
John Ruffin. Hey, why don't you?" Now it's
You're
like,
like,
no,
now
I'm
they
good.
wanna talk to you.
But I understand now
Yeah.
because can't nobody get the glory but God.
But God.
He
I
knew
love
that's
that.
what I was
Yep,
going to
yep.
do, and everybody would have been saying it was me. No,
I
it
helped
wasn't
you
God.
get
It was
there.
me.
Yeah.
So that's what it is,
Yeah.
you know. And I've always said when it comes down to, I always pick mentees by spirit.
Yeah.
You know, not
Yes.
Spirit Airlines,
That's
but
That's
by
an inside
spirit.
joke, y'all.
By spirit, you know, because you can't really, only God knows that person on the
Yeah, the
inside.
right connect. Yeah, yeah. It
Exactly.
makes
He
sense.
only knows. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, okay, so now you're doing a show and then
Uh-huh.
you're going on tour. You have a lot going
Yes.
on. Tell us a little bit about that, a little bit about the process, how you got to that point.
Okay, well, you know, I started when I opened my theater. You know, God dropped on me one day and said, "You know what? He gave me a way to get in there that no one else was doing." And you know, one thing about business that you learn, you find out what the need is,
Yeah.
and you supply it.
Okay.
That's how you become who you are. That's how you create a brand. Yes, there are a lot of things that are the same. However, there's always something different about that one item.
Okay.
My item was, you know what, to first of all, stop using all the nationals,
Okay.
the national headliners
Yes.
and all that. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, create stories that people want to hear so that it ain't about me, it's about the title.
Okay.
So now I don't have to sell the title anymore.
Okay.
It's the subject matter.
Okay.
The subject matter is who they want to, or what they want to
wanna
see.
see.
And when I looked out there, there was no one else doing it.
That's
and
awesome.
so I created my own style.
Yeah.
I took the inspirational urban stage plays and took Broadway musicals,
Yes.
and they both had a baby.
Yes.
And that's what
I
they
love
came
that.
out with was my style.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to.
I love that.
Lin-Manuel, all he did was took Broadway, urban hip hop, made him have a
together.
baby. There you got Hamilton.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
love it.
There you got Washington Heights. So, and I'm an astute student
Okay.
of theater. I watch it all.
Yeah.
I'm always at Broadway. I'm
Yes,
always
I love Broadway.
downtown. I'm always
Yeah.
watching other people's shows. Not to steal, not
Yeah,
to copy.
inspire and to learn.
Inspire and learn.
Yeah, that's what
Broadway
we all
is
should
the
do.
best teacher,
The best.
college course you will ever have.
Yep.
Why? Because they already have it.
Yep.
But they don't have another John Ruffin. They don't have another Charbria. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have us.
Yeah.
But we can learn from them.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I
There you
love
go.
that. Yeah, I'm glad my husband doesn't mind because I love to go to all the shows.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like, I want to go to this,
absolutely.
want to go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he likes it, so it's
Sometimes
good.
I be in there alone. My wife would be
yeah.
like, "You go."
Especially
I'm
if you do too much, right? If
I'm
you wanna
always
go to
going
all
because
the
I'm
shows.
go to all of them.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Back to the Future.
That
I
makes
went to
sense.
see that.
Oh, how did you like
I
it?
love Back to the
See,
Future.
I didn't know if I would. So okay, if
Let
I
me
love
tell you something.
musicals-
If nothing else,
Yeah.
you're gonna love the technology.
Okay.
I was so
I
in
need to
awe.
check it out.
I've been serious. I was a kid in the
I
candy
watched the
shop.
movie back in the day. So,
Yes,
yeah,
but the
so-
show when
It's
that
good?
car got up on that stage and flew into the
So it's
audience and
good.
came back, yes.
Oh man, it
All
might
day.
be gone from Chicago.
It's
now.
gone from Chicago.
Maybe New York.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
Okay,
maybe.
I might could see in New York.
Yeah,
okay.
but
Oh, my
yeah, I'd
goodness.
look at them all.
Yeah.
I just
No,
seen
it's
Ain't Too
good
Proud to Break.
because
Yeah.
Even if it's not your, like cup of tea, you can always learn from it.
Oh, it will be your cup of tea.
Always. Yeah.
See, that's one thing I learned from Broadway show. You
Yeah.
can go there and not be a fan of the subject,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're engulfed in the story.
Yeah.
Because it's well written.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any loose
Yeah,
ends.
yeah.
So that's what I look
Yeah,
at.
my father is so funny because my father goes to all these concerts and all these shows, and
Yeah.
he was inviting me to something. I'm like, but Dad, I don't want. He was like, I don't like them either, but I'm going to learn. 'Cause
Yes.
it wasn't my cup of tea, and he's
That's
like,
right.
that's never why I go.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I just want to learn.
There you go.
He's a technical guy,
Yeah,
a music
oh.
guy.
Oh,
He
yeah,
writes music
absolutely.
and stuff. So he's like, I'm going to see everything. The lights,
Yeah,
the sound.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
And
like,
how it ties in.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of it.
And
So
you
that's
learn
awesome.
that. You need to know that
Yeah.
as playwrights.
Yeah.
I always say you need to know every aspect of theater. Because when
Yes.
you're going out there, you know what helps me to write is because I know how lights move.
Yeah.
I know how sound,
I love that.
what it sounds like out there.
Yeah.
Then I know how transitions look. So you have to learn that. Now we're going into a technical age. We don't use the sets as much. Now you're using LED walls.
Yeah.
Now you're using moving lights. So you don't have the old conventional lights where it's just, okay, this light is going to be here. No,
Yes.
those lights are change on you. We can strobe it out.
Do
We can
you
do it all.
like the change from?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's
you
a
like
ease.
because it's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah, okay.
You can dial it in.
That's what I was gonna say. It seems
Yes,
much
it's
easier.
much
I've seen that a
easier.
lot with shows lately.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I have both conventional and
do
LED,
both.
and I'm taking them conventionals
Okay.
off down. I don't even use them.
You ain't
We
got
don't
time
even-
for that.
First of all, they burn through too much electricity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're all with the new stuff.
All
and
day.
Technology. Even the board, I'm like, okay, everything. Yeah, I love
Yes.
that. Okay. Cool.
I wish I could put an AI of me up here sometimes. So yeah.
So you going
I'm
all
going
the way.
all the
You're
way.
going all the way.
Absolutely.
That's so funny. I have to learn a little bit more about technology. I know AI is a big thing now.
Yes,
So
and AI is the bomb.
yeah, so you use it a lot.
I use it here and there because
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
use it even to spark your thoughts.
Yes, and people have been telling me you should try it with this and that. So I said, okay, I might try
Yeah.
it. To kind of give it a whirl, give it a try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We do it. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to take it from the art, but it just enhances. It doesn't have to take
It
away.
doesn't take it away at
Yeah,
all. And
yeah.
everyone, those purists, I would say,
Yeah.
thespian, Oh, it's like, no, it doesn't. It actually helps you tell the story.
Yeah, that's great. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
So, what show are you doing now?
Well, right now I'm doing Lady Sings the Blues.
Yes.
Here at my theater, at Theater 47. But at the same time, I'm touring my other show, Living All Alone, the Phyllis Hyman story.
So 2 shows, guys.
Yes. And then I start in February with a new show. I'm sorry, January with a new show, If You Think You're Lonely Now, the Bobby Womack story.
Wow.
And then I go on tour with another show that I can't disclose just
Yes.
yet.
Next year.
But yeah, in
Okay.
February.
Okay.
Then I go on the national 30-city tour. So
Wow.
yeah, so we're going to hit all the majors. So in a city near you, we've already hit quite a few major cities this year with
Okay.
Phyllis Hyman. We have a few more to go, and we're going to keep it going.
So, if they want to see the show that's here, how long is the run?
The show is running, Lady Sings the Blues, the Billie Holiday story, is running from October 5th, which was the past weekend, all the way through November 24th.
Okay.
Every Saturday and Sunday. We do 2
Nice.
shows on Saturday, 1 show on Sunday.
Okay.
You can reach us, www.theater47.com. That's www.theater, spelled the English way, ER, the number 4, the number 7.com.
So, before we let you go, let's talk about this a little bit. You told me you were doing like 30 cities.
Uh-huh.
How are you managing all of this? Like your work-life balance? Like how did you get to that point?
Well, again, opportunity. One thing about it, I always tell about opportunity. Opportunity happens just like anything else. It's in seasons.
Yeah.
And, so I try to live every part of my season. So then that when it's over, I won't regret anything. I won't regret that I sat on my butt or procrastinated myself out of it. Or, here's the thing, talk myself out of it.
Okay.
We can self-sabotage because we see the workload.
Yes.
So what I've learned to do, and I'm learning to do, and I'm still a work in progress, is delegating. One thing I've learned is when you have to worry about certain things, you have the wrong people around you. The right people keep you from worrying.
That's good.
So now I am building. I have a great team, but I'm enhancing it now
Yes, I
so
love
that I can do all the things that I'm supposed to do, so my grandchildren can then, if nothing else, say, man, my poppy did this, my poppy did that, because I have to leave that. If nothing else, I leave a catalog of work for them, so that one day they can possibly get paid from people who are trying to, license my shows.
Yeah.
Just like we license August Wilson shows and the likes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I'm
Yeah.
I am at this point building legacy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. But so for those who are saying theater is dead, sorry guys.
It's very
not.
much alive. Yes.
I hear that too much. I'm like,
Yeah, we've sold out here at the theater. We've been sold out for 3 straight years.
I love it.
We haven't had one production that have been.
I love
And
that.
Phyllis Hyman, we did it here. We sold out 72 shows.
Yeah.
Billie Holiday, I did 2 years ago. We sold out 74 shows.
Wow.
And here now we already sold out of 22 shows.
Yeah.
So it just keeps going and going.
love it.
Yeah. So you playwrights, it's not dead. You just got to do some things different, and that includes rebuilding yourself, regrouping yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so
Oh, my
much.
pleasure.
This has been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming out
Yes.
to Max Out Girl. And
Yes.
you guys get tickets to support him. It's going to be amazing. Make sure before, because he's going to be going on tour. So y'all want to come out and get those tickets. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can follow me at Max Out Girl at Charbria Shine. And again, we hope we said something and encouraged and inspired and elevated your thinking. I'm Charbria Shine. Talk to you next time. Bye, guys.